Hello everybody, this is Danny
and Wanda
from our Path to Financial Freedom. Last week we kind of left off with our first year of marriage together. We're going to kind of pick up at the end of that and talk about a few things that we didn't mention during that one, but I feel like it might be important because we have a lot of people on our channel that's kind of maybe in the same shape that we've been in, and maybe it might be an inspiration to you. And that is to do with the disability part of Wanda and I. I'm one of these kind of people that I just don't quit. Wanda stays on me all the time. You know, I need to rest, I need to rest, I need to rest. Well, you know, I applied for my disability 3 times, was turned down each time I was turned down, even though every doctor that I saw that they sent me to said that I was disabled. Even my disability papers says I'm disabled, but the judge just would not grant it. Now, a lot of people are probably going to give me a lot of flack for this, and I don't really care, but you know, I'm going to share with you a few of the things that I live with on a daily basis, because we have a lot of subscribers that subscribe to us that have disability issues.
And disabilities, we've got people that are saying that disability means you can't do anything. Well, I'm sorry, according to a lot of the judgments that people are on disability, I see them doing everything, literally. And Danny does have disabilities. Does it put him in the bed? He can't get up, he can't move? No.
No.
He has these abilities, things that complicate him holding down a job.
Yeah.
Yes, he could get a job, but there's going to be days that he is not going to function very well. There's going to be days he can't get up and go, and he's going to get fired because of it. Could I hold down a job? Yes, I could. Do I want to? No, I don't. And we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, well, let me share with y'all a few things that I've been through in my life. Maybe this will help you to understand a little bit better about what we're talking about. Okay, I've had both ankles completely broke off. All right, I've had my right femur broke completely in two. I have pins in my right leg. I have broken my right wrist. I have broken my neck. I have broken my back. I have refractured my neck. I have broken 5 ribs on my right side. I have punched a hole in one of those ribs through my lungs. I have broken both clavicles on both sides of my body. I have had my left shoulder torn out of my body and peeled around behind me, and they put it back together. My right shoulder is 1 inch lower than my left shoulder. My right leg is 1 inch longer than my left leg because of the accidents and them putting me back together. You know, these are some of the external and internal things that I've had. I've had kidney surgery. I don't even know how many times I've had kidney surgery. I know one summer I had 4 or 5 in a row, and that's happened multiple times to me. I've had gallbladder surgery. I mean, I have had surgery so many times that it doesn't even, you know, I don't even know how to say it. It doesn't even affect me anymore. When somebody says surgery, I'm like, oh, well, here we go again, you know. But these are things that I live with on a daily basis. Every day of my life I get up, I'm in pain. I have arthritis, and I'm fighting that, and I almost have it under control. I don't take any medications. I take 0 meds right now. I have a heart issue. I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I have a bad valve in my heart. I live with all of these things on a daily basis, but yet you don't hear me complaining about it. I still get up at 5 o'clock every morning. Some mornings 4:30.
Some mornings 2 if you can't sleep.
So if I can't sleep, I'm up at 2 o'clock some mornings. But when I get up, the first thing I do is I come in here about I have cutting boards, I have bowls, I have spoons, stuff like that. I'll go ahead and start wood burning them or doing some light sanding on them, or I'll be treating them with olive oil. I go ahead and make my time productive, or I spend some time in God's Word. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I go to the YouTube channel and I start answering questions. I do things like this. But, you know, even with these disabilities and owning my own company for 26 years, I paid in more than most people will ever pay in, and yet I will never draw it because the judge told me that I will never be able to draw my disability. Now, that's a long story within itself. I don't want to get into that.
But he could draw Social Security, but he has to be, 60?
I got to be, now the age, I think they're raising up to 70-something.
I'm not sure what age, but anyway, he's only 56.
57.
57.
Yeah.
Okay, he's had a birthday. He turned 57.
Yeah.
So retirement is a long time away for him. He cannot draw that for a long time. I can't draw it.
But yet Wanda and I, we can't just stop. And everybody goes, well, Wanda could go get a job. Well, we did the math on Wanda going and getting a job. By the time we get a vehicle, because it would take an extra vehicle, by the time she buys gas, buys clothes, buys her lunch every day, and travels, the wear and tear on the vehicle, she would make about $1.50 an hour. Because you have to travel almost 45 minutes here to go get a job.
I could work in our small town, but I'm going to make maybe minimum wage if I find a job. And there's not very many available in our little town. It's mainly mom and pop operations. So they have their own people that work. It's hard to find a job.
Yeah.
But I would have to travel for a long period of time. So it was not an option. Online work was something that I was working toward. And Danny and I just kind of fell into YouTube. And that has become
become our ministry.
Yeah. So we have our ways of making money with the woodworks, with my cookbooks, with the ebooks. We are starting to build a online
business because people don't realize. They say, well, you're making cupboards and spoons and bowls. You're not disabled. Well, let me tell you something. I can only turn out maybe 2 bowls a week. Yeah. Because I can't stand as long as I have to stand or sit or operate those tools, the vibration in them and stuff like that. I just can't turn out stuff that fast, because I have other things that have to be done. So if I wear myself completely out doing that, Wanda and I cannot get the rest of our chores done.
The animals. And even painting the house, doing the little things, building the steps we've done. Yes, Danny can do those things. Yes, he can operate a tractor. The tractor does 99% of the work.
99% of the work. I'm just sitting on it.
But he does have his issues when he's on the tractor as far as neck and things.
My neck, my back, I get cramps in my legs. I have to stop operating and come in, sit down.
So, back to our financial part of it. Why are we telling you this? Because the first year we were together, he was working and making a little bit of a living. We weren't totally broke the first 3 or 4 weeks. Right. But he messed his neck up again.
Yep.
And when he did, he was down for weeks. It took probably 2 or 3 months.
It took 2 or 3 months before I could even do anything.
Before he could actually lift or move his arms to an extent to do very much.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I was still in college.
You were still in school, yeah.
So we were dependent on very, very little. But after the first year, we started doing some carpenter work. When his neck got better, the carpenter work kicked in. But again, every dime we made was put up. It was not blowed on trivial things. No. It was not blowed on clothes, going to the movies, eating out. No. We didn't even buy special things at the grocery store. We used the sheets and towels that we had. We used the dishcloths that we had. I didn't even buy things for the kitchen or the house. No new curtains, no nothing. Right. That we lived for 4 years. I have just recently started doing, Danny did do some woodwork, but we already had the wood here for most of the woodwork that he did in the house. Yeah. And we did without. We trusted God. We had faith that he would show us what we needed to do, when we needed to do it, and we didn't spend money.
No. And the reason we tell y'all this is for this very reason. There's a lot of y'all out there that's fighting disabilities.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, there's hope. Mm-hmm. There's hope. You can do what you need to do. You just got to figure out how you can do it. Now, you may not be able to do it like Joe down the road does. You may not be able to provide the kind of income that Joe down the road does. On our homestead here, we do about 6 different things to make the income of one person working on a good paying job.
And we've had many of the people contact us that have disabilities.
Yes.
And they use container gardens, or someone who is in a wheelchair has a way to ride by their containers and do things. This is what we're talking about. Even if you only make 5 tomatoes, that gives you a sense of
we have people who are paralyzed in wheelchairs that are growing some of the things that we grow and using some of the techniques that we use, and they're coming out with lots of vegetables. And look, guys, that's what blesses our heart. That's why we're doing this financial freedom series, because right now, Wanda and I, if it wasn't for the tractor payment out there, we would be financially out of debt, other than just having to pay electric bill or maybe insurance on the truck or a phone bill, the normal things that you have. But as far as banknotes, that tractor sitting out there is the only banknote we have.
Exactly. And it took us a long time to get here. If you're young and you are up to here in debt and you're going, I don't see how I can ever get out of it, it takes commitment.
It takes commitment
and doing without sometimes. It takes figuring out a financial way, and Danny will probably do a video on how before long, just some techniques to get out of debt. But for now, we're not going into that, but for now, he does have a few things. But it takes, as a young person, I can remember not seeing it. If somebody had told me some of the things I know now, oh man, it would have helped me tremendously.
It would have, look, if I'd have known, if somebody would have just told me years ago, Danny, you need to start taking care of things a little bit better, because one day you're going to be where you can't do anything. Look, if I would have just listened, let me put it that way.
We heard it.
We heard it.
We didn't listen.
We didn't heed to it.
Yeah, that's probably a better way of putting it.
And the thing about it is, guys, after watching the way my mom and dad went down, once they got into business for themselves, they started off very dirt poor. I'm going to just go ahead and say dirt poor, because that's what they were. And they finally got it. My dad's company kind of took off a little bit, and they had some money. They did not take care of their old age. They did not set their place up where they could even get out the door to go outside. So a few simple things: pouring a sidewalk, pouring ramps, pouring a place for them to get outside, having a place that they could get to in a wheelchair. Their second house I built for them, I built it completely handicap accessible. We had 3-foot doors throughout the whole house, room to turn wheelchairs and everything. But even then, they would not let me pour the concrete that I needed in the front. They put too narrow of a porch. They would not pour sidewalks and stuff like this. Guys, these are the kind of things when you're young and you're looking into your older age, go ahead and think about being disabled. Because, look, me when I was younger, when I got broke up, I had no clue that I was going to be that way. I was as strong as an ox. I was 230 pounds. Look, you couldn't hold me back. And then all of a sudden I get broke all to pieces, not once but multiple times, because of the high-risk jobs that I was involved in. And trying to function in houses that was not designed for it. And even then, I did not pay attention and try to start designing my homestead where I could get around. And now, Wanda and I, while we still have some energy left and some ability to do things, are trying our best to get our place set up where when we're older, we can still get around on it some.
Because right now, if one of us was in a wheelchair, it is still difficult to get around this homestead. It would be extremely difficult. So it's going to limit. So if you're
we're going to be limited on this particular homestead because it's so hilly.
But if you're looking for a place or you have the accessibility, consider wheelchairs, old age, inside your house, wider doors, that sort of thing. Spend the money now.
Yes.
To help you in the future. That's one of the things that Danny and I have learned big time is we should have spent money in the past. I wasn't in this house, but he should have.
Yeah.
And he should have spent things in the past that would have helped now. And that's not blowing money on a lot of things.
No, that's your infrastructure.
It's your infrastructure. Fixing the infrastructure the way you should to start with. And I guess our second year, we really worked and carpenter work. That got us through.
Carpentry got us through the second year.
The third year, we started YouTube. And believe me, you're not making a lot on YouTube.
Do not make...
If you make money on YouTube, it's going to be a supplement.
It's a supplement. It can never be... there may be people who makes a lot of money at it.
Well, there are.
But we're not one of them.
And most of you will not be one of them that make a lot of money. If you look at it as, I'm going to use YouTube for my income, don't.
Don't do it.
Because YouTube is very iffy. It might pay you today and it may not.
Yeah.
Your ads may go up today and they may not.
You never know.
They might demonetize videos just because they want to, but just because of a word that's said in the video.
Yeah.
So do not use that as a primary income. Use it as
a supplement.
Amazon links, if you have those, as a supplement. You will never know what you're getting exactly because you don't know what people are going to buy.
Right.
Even our Etsy store, we don't know if people are ever going to go there or not. That's another one of those,
it's one of those things. We do have people who contact us and go, how can we financially bless y'all because y'all don't do Patreon, and then we know we don't because we don't want to see our subscribers have to pay to see our videos. Mm-hmm. And what we usually will tell people is this one thing right here. We have things in our Etsy store. If you want to bless us, buy something that we worked for. Mm-hmm. Or go to our Amazon link. If you're going to buy things through Amazon, and purchase things through our link. And when you do that, we get a percentage. It doesn't cost you one dime more.
Exactly.
But Amazon will pay us a little bit. And it's not much. It's just like pennies on a dollar or something like that.
But it adds up.
But it adds up over a period of time. I mean, there are times we've got a check for, $20, $25 from them or something?
I think 40 to 60 a time or two around Christmas.
Around Christmas when people order a lot of stuff. It's usually not much. But every dollar that comes in, it's like I was telling you a while ago,
it helps.
Sometimes it takes 6 different jobs to make the income of one because, like Amazon one month may not pay us but 30 or 40 bucks. We're an affiliate for multiple companies. Hall's Tool, it may pay us a little bit, and then YouTube may pay us a little bit. We may get a super chat. By the time you add all these things together, they come together to be not even a full paycheck for a month, but they do help one tonight to get by because we don't have to have what everybody else has to have to live.
Yeah. And when you add all those up together, since Danny isn't on disability, the amount of all these things together would probably equal
It'd be about what we get for disability.
And I remember something Danny said, and I don't know if he remembers it or not, but when he applied, he said, if God wants me to have disability, I'll have it. If he doesn't, there's a reason.
Yep.
And so he didn't get it. There was a reason for him not getting it. He would never have done YouTube if he had gotten it.
If I'd gotten it, I probably would have never done YouTube. I'd have never done a lot of things.
And so we are hearing from people daily that are blessing our hearts that our videos are helping them to grow gardens. They're helping them to learn how to cook their food or how to preserve food. That blesses our heart. That alone is why we do YouTube. That is what we are doing it for, is for the blessings we get from God. You guys are a blessing.
You guys are a blessing to us. Now, we're probably only going to do one more series in this path to financial freedom because we're nearing up to where Wanda and I are at now.
Yeah.
And, we're going to go ahead and cut this video off here today so we have a little bit more to talk about. And I want to say thank you for y'all having spent some time with us through this complete series that we've been doing. Now, I know not every part of it has been about anything financial, but it's all led up to why we make the decisions we make based on how we were raised, how we spent our teenage years, our mindsets and things like this. These are things that play into whether or not you have the ability to live a financially free life. So, in saying that, I'm going to say thank y'all, God bless, and thank you from Deep South Homestead.
Thank you, guys.